Hi guys, I'm going to review the latest video by Pickup Limes, Why You're Always Tired plus Food Fixes.
It's a very defeating feeling when we want to get things done, but we feel completely drained. And so luckily, there is an ever-growing body of research that suggests nutrition and our food choices can actually help to fight fatigue during the day, and it can also help us sleep more quickly and soundly at night.
Cool.
Fatigue can be brought on by different causes like a decrease in physical activity or allergies or diabetes, but today...
Is she saying that a decrease in physical activity is going to make you more tired? The less you work out, the more energy and stamina you will have, obviously.
We're specifically going to focus on how fatigue can be brought on, but also resolved by our food and beverage choices. So myself and one of our dietitian team members, Sophia, we geeked out and we read a whole bunch of research papers on the link between nutrition and fatigue. And we've simplified what is known in the science, and that's what we're going to share with you in today's video. Like some recent studies, for example, have shown that eating irregularly can throw our circadian rhythm out of sync, which can reduce the quality and duration of our sleep. So ensuring
You should simply eat when you're hungry. That's about it.
That we eat at more or less the same times each day can actually help to synchronize our sleep-wake cycle, making us feel less tired.
That's nonsense. In nature, you simply eat when you have a craving for food, if there is food around. If you have a lot of food, then you're just going to eat a lot of food if you just had a big hunt, for example.
Breakfast isn't for everyone, I get that, but if you are somebody who kind of feels chronically fatigued throughout the day and you're also skipping breakfast, this could be the culprit.
That is a good point, but it's generally ridiculous not to eat breakfast. She says it's not for everybody. It is for everybody, of course. You don't eat the whole night, and of course you have to eat in the morning. If you don't, you're simply going to eat yourself, your own cells, your human animal cells. That's what you're gonna live off of the next hours. And then you're, of course, going to feel worse and worse after a while.
So after we've had like a good night's rest, we've been fasting for many hours because we've been asleep. And so when we wake up, we're a bit depleted in energy. And so breaking the fast, which is where the word breakfast actually comes from, this helps to
I didn't know that.
kickstart our day with some fuel. There's been several studies that have
Man, that's not fuel at all.
shown that those who eat breakfast, especially high fiber breakfasts, are not only more alert throughout the day, but
high fiber breakfast. That's what's gonna make you alert. How are you gonna be alert? Where's the logic? Give some kind of explanations.
they also have improved memory, a more positive mood, and even better
Improved memory and a more positive mood from fiber. As far as I know, people who eat a lot of fiber have a discomfort in their gut all day long and possibly even pain and a lot of gas and whatnot. How are any of those things gonna come true from fiber?
bowel movements. There was also this one interesting study of 498 students that found that those who were skipping breakfast were also the ones reporting that they weren't sleeping as well at night. So not only does eating breakfast kind of give us more
She is right about that for sure. I'm absolutely against intermittent fasting, but what she's promoting is of course not going to help anybody.
energy throughout the day, it could potentially also help us sleep better. So it's a win-win. This is what I love about nutrition. It turns out that we
Eat a lot of animal foods for breakfast, and then yes, absolutely.
We can very strategically compose our meals to help us feel more alert during the day and to help us kind of fall asleep and better stay.
I like how it said protein and carbs, no mention of fat. And of course you can see that she basically has no fat on her body.
Protein is made up of these building blocks that are called amino acids, one of which is tryptophan. Tryptophan gets taken to our brain where it's absorbed, and that gets converted to serotonin, which helps us feel good and calm. That gets converted to melatonin.
You don't need to act like you feel good for the camera. We can see through it.
Which is a hormone that actually helps our body kind of get ready for sleep. The research showed that people who sleep well tended to consume more protein over the day than people who sleep poorly.
Okay, and what is your point? That you should eat more chickpeas? Chickpeas are very fibrous, just like other seeds, which means that they are largely indigestible, and of course they also have anti-nutrients that don't let you absorb the protein.
Notable plant-based food sources of tryptophan are soy, nuts and seeds, including cashew, pumpkin, and sunflower seeds, beans, leafy greens, mushrooms, and broccoli. So it's important that we
all of those foods are extremely toxic to the body. Why do you leave that out?
We get enough protein so that we get the tryptophan, but it's worth noting that you don't want to get too much protein because that's been linked with decreasing sleep quality. So no need to go out and take any protein powders as long as you're following a food's.
Why protein powders? Simply eat raw meat. You get all the protein, every nutrient that you need, everything. It's just perfect.
First approach. Now let's delve into the carbs. I have, for simplicity's sake, broken this up into two different groups, one of which we're going to call slow digesting carbs and one quick digesting carbs. Quick digesting carbs are those like white bread, white pasta, and white rice. Slow digesting carbs, on the other hand, are those that are higher in fiber. So think whole grains, legumes, and vegetables. What's interesting is that fruits...
All of the white stuff is technically better because it doesn't have the shell, for example, which has, fiber also, but what she doesn't mention are all of the toxins, anti-nutrients that you're going to be getting. So you're not actually going to be digesting the stuff for a large part anyway.
Have a bit of a mix of both. Okay, so why is knowing all of this important? In short, eating quick digesting carbs increases the amount of tryptophan that gets absorbed into our brain, which is then going to increase the chance that we're going to feel sleepy after eating. And this is what's so cool. We can use this...
If you eat a lot of carbs, simply put a lot of animal fat on the food.
...knowledge to our benefit. Like in the evening, we can increase the chances of...
It will absorb slower.
...becoming sleepy a few hours after dinner by having quick carbs with our dinner meal, or by having a piece of fruit with dinner or as an evening snack just to help.
Yeah, but you're telling all of this to vegans who are absolutely starving, dreaming about meat all night long, which is why they wake up. Of course, they are gonna binge on a lot of nonsense, noodles and whatever. That's why you are also making all of these recipes. And it's also funny that you're making this video. Why did she even think about making a video about being tired? Obviously, because it is a problem that she has. I would never think about that, except if somebody specifically asked me to make a video about humans being tired. But I myself wouldn't think about it because I don't have that issue.
To increase the absorption of tryptophan into our brain. On the other hand, if we want to avoid the after lunch slump that we can experience sometimes, we can try to have slow digesting carbs with...
You should never experience that. It's not normal.
...our meal instead of quick digesting carbs. In addition to them just being great sources of fiber, these slow...
Man, all that it means is that the fiber is going to sit in your gut and your body is going to have a really hard time breaking down the food that you just ate. That's all that these so-called slow carbs are.
Digesting carbs give us a more steady and continued release of energy throughout the day.
Here we go. Deficiency. So we'll see what she says.
Being deficient in certain nutrients can really affect sleep. This is something we found across a whole bunch of different research papers, where if certain people are deficient, for example, in iron, magnesium, potassium, zinc, selenium.
Iron, zinc would be typical for a vegan. Selenium possibly also.
Beta-carotene, B vitamins, and vitamin C.
Oh yeah, of course. Being deficient in beta-carotene. Do you even know what that is? It's a plant pigment, man. How can you be deficient in a plant pigment? Like, what is that in your head that you think that we can be deficient? We do not need it in any way as humans.
E and or D, they tend to sleep more poorly.
Yeah, of course you're going to be deficient in the B vitamins, B12, obviously B6 also for sure. And vitamin D, that's an animal hormone. How are you going to get it from plants? You're not going to make it yourself. You need cholesterol for one thing to make it. And vegans have notoriously low cholesterol, usually.
Now, these vitamins and minerals, they take part in a whole bunch of the different complex reactions that occur in our body. So like iron, for example, helps with the production of serotonin, whereas B vitamins help to create melatonin. But there's no need to go out and supplement with these vitamins and minerals unless your doctor has specifically advised that you do. But that's mainly because our philosophy is to follow a food-first approach. It is definitely possible and recommended to get kind of the nutrients that we need just by eating a variety of different plant foods.
She shows all of this colorful, it's supposed to appeal to you, man-made food, which she probably doesn't even realize. It's just such a delusion.
And so if you're curious on how to build your plate so that it is nutritionally balanced and adequate, you can check out our plate method video if you'd like, and I'll link that for you here. So we're going to take a brief...
That fake smile just...
intermission to share 2 different evening snacks that you can enjoy that can actually help to promote sleep. And it's a great opportunity for us to put into practice what we've learned, starting off with just simple banana and nut butter. Both bananas and almond butter contain tryptophan, and when you combine that with the quick digesting carbs that are in the banana, the tryptophan absorption in our brains is increased. What's more,
Okay, I could somewhat understand the banana, whatever. It's very fibrous and also harder to digest than most fruit. But the nut butters I can't understand at all, simply because, again, she doesn't mention all of the toxins in nut butters which can actually make you really sick, besides malnourished, obviously.
that these are both high in magnesium and bananas are high in potassium.
It doesn't matter if it's high in magnesium, potassium, whatever. The nut butters have anti-nutrients that bind to the minerals and doesn't let you absorb them. Why don't you just mention that? It doesn't matter what it says on paper, black and white. It will give you a number of how many minerals are in there. Let's just say that that is somewhat true. It's still irrelevant because that's not what you're going to actually absorb.
Which are a couple of the minerals that we just previously talked about. Here's another option. In place
Banana nut butter is just a typical starvation meal for a vegan, actually simply craving animal foods, animal fat.
of having an evening tea that might have some caffeine in it, you could try out some warm soy milk instead.
Okay, at least she doesn't recommend tea, coffee. I'll give her that. It is nice that she doesn't.
This contains tryptophan, but also magnesium and calcium. And if you prefer that the milk is flavored, you could try out our homemade golden latte mix. It's really delicious, and it makes for a comforting drink that also helps to promote sleep. So we all know that caffeine, which is found in coffee most predominantly, but also in energy drinks and in tea, that this helps to make us feel more alert, right? And this is because
Yeah, because it's toxic. What are you gonna say?
it's a stimulant that temporarily suppresses the buildup of sleep pressure, which is a mechanism that makes us tired. Now, everyone is different, but in most adults, it takes the body about 3 to 7 hours to break down half of the caffeine that's in our system. This is known as its half-life. So let's say that we drink our first cup of coffee at 9 a.m. 5 hours
Okay, I think I'll take back what I said.
later at 2 p.m., there's still going to be half of that caffeine in our system. And then another 5
Like, on coffee. Oh, hey! Oh, all good.
5 hours later at 7 p.m., a quarter of what we drank at 9 a.m. By the time it's midnight, we're going to have an eighth of that caffeine still in our system. It's pretty interesting, right? Now that you understand this, it might make sense then when you hear that like caffeine could just have such a lasting effect, even though it's something that we might have consumed many, many hours before bed. So maybe what just is helpful to keep in mind is caffeine's half-life, and to try to have our caffeine early in the morning or early in the afternoon and try to limit it.
Or you never have it at all and you simply switch to your natural human diet and you never worry about any of these problems. Seems like a good solution.
Later on in the evening if we want to have a better night's rest. Water makes up about 55 to 75% of our body weight, and it's involved in so many different reactions in the human body, but a lot of adults just don't drink enough. And even mild dehydration, according to the research, can cause things like fatigue and daytime sleepiness, mood changes, and a drop in cognitive performance. So if you find that you're tired a lot during the day, it might help to just check in and see if you think you've been drinking enough. Some telltale signs are your skin or lips might be dry, or your pee could be a bit dark in color. And if it is, it's just a reminder to drink a little bit more.
Your pee should be somewhat colored, and if your lips are dry, then it's again animal fat that you're missing. You should not be... Actually, I'll just link my video about water. I'm not even going to explain why you shouldn't be drinking water, or at least very little of it.
Myself am terrible at remembering to drink enough water, so it helps to just kind of have a cup by your desk as a reminder to drink sometimes, or you could make it more fun.
I like how she puts the green leaves in there to make it just a bit toxic.
By trying to flavor your water with a little bit of fruit or cucumber or mint, for example. But overall, what we saw in so many different studies was this kind of recurring message on the importance of eating whole plant-based foods and a variety of them as often as possible, not only to support overall health, but also to help us feel more energized throughout the day and to help better support our sleep.
Ugly Netherlands.
But there are also some other nutrition topics we didn't get a chance to explore in today's video, like how does fat or salt or alcohol affect sleep, or other dietary and lifestyle choices. So if you are interested in geeking out and learning more, I'm going to leave that article that we've written in the description box below. That's also where you're going to find links to the different research papers that we were kind of referring to in today's video. And I hope you have an awesome night's sleep and an awesome energized day tomorrow, that you learned something new in today's video. So if you enjoyed, feel free to give it a thumbs up. It means a lot. And Pickle Limes signing off. We'll see you in the next video.
Cool story. Stop being so fake. I can't stand watching you or even listening to you, the fake expressions all of the time. Plants don't have over 15 micronutrients, and this is exactly why, no matter what recipes you think of, as she showed in the video, you're not gonna make plants nutritious. You're never gonna feel really good if you eat a vegan diet, most certainly, but also not even a plant-based diet, because you will always have these issues of malnutrition because of the micronutrients and really even the macronutrients missing. Plus, she didn't even mention that you should be eating a lot of fat. It's just protein and carbs, and that's exactly how she looks like, absolutely malnourished. Then again, how can you recommend any kind of fat as a vegan when all that you consume are oils, which are, of course, incredibly inflammatory, and maybe even she understands that you shouldn't be consuming a lot of them. Oh boy, of course you gotta get tons of animal fat. Even if you would be eating a vegetarian diet and you would eat egg yolks and butter, you would feel way better, and this is exactly also why you would sleep better, for the simple reason that you would be able to be nourished, and then you could of course rest, your body would be at ease, and then of course you would not wake up all of the time. There's so many terrible recommendations in this video. All of them are trying to find a way to cope, but it's never going to work because you're eating an unnatural diet. There is no way to fix that. Thanks for watching.